Kanino po yung audio? Meron. Right, so good morning once again. Welcome back everyone to our Learning Systems Reform Policies Orientation for Teachers. Ayan. So makikita natin sa screen ngayon yung mga action shots ng ating mga teachers from the National Capital Region at Region 11, Davao Region. Ayan, so flashed on the screen. So ramdam natin ang engagement at focus ng ating mga teachers para ma-immerse talaga sa ating orientation. So shout out sa inyo ating mga kaguruan dyan sa inyong mga respective schools mula sa 16 schools division ng NCR at 11 schools divisions ng Region 11. So keep listening actively, collaborating with one another, and engaging through our chat box sa ating YouTube live stream. So just a recap kanina, we listened to the overview of the learning systems reform policies and work on the brain dump. Kung natatandaan nyo yung ating quick notes, right? So likewise, for 1.5 hours, we were given time to work on our self-paced activity. Nabasa na ba ninyo ang mga policy briefers, budget of work, checklist, at na-accomplish yung activity sheet na starting strong? So I hope so, na-accomplish nyo, no? Pero kung hindi pa tapos, okay lang yan. You can still continue accomplishing them throughout the day. At this point, we now move into our deep dives. Let's start with a quick check for understanding. Yes, this is some sort of recall exercise. But mind you, teachers, hindi ito exam and it's not graded. We simply want you to get a sense of what's clear and where we might need a bit more clarification in terms of reform policies na pinabasa namin sa inyo kanina. So don't you worry kasi detailed discussions of these policies will be conducted in the succeeding sessions. And kung mali man yung sagot nyo dun sa ating recall exercise later, if you get something wrong, okay lang yan. That's perfectly okay because this is a safe space to learn and it's much better to catch and correct any misconceptions here. So paano ba natin gagawin itong ating recall exercise? So we will check understanding through this Mentimeter quiz. Okay, are you familiar with Mentimeter? Okay, so kindly go to this link flashed on your screen and type in the code 74222820 or you can scan the QR code. So go to the link menti.com and enter the code 74222820. Right? So please, as you go to the link, please provide your name and indicate your schools division as well para bilang profile name nyo sa ating Mentimeter. Okay? So again, scan the QR code and go to menti.com. Enter the code 74222820 or scan the QR code flashed on your screen. Okay? So please provide your name and schools division. So you're given 3 minutes to be on board sa ating Mentimeter. So please connect to join our Mentimeter quiz. Okay? So currently, meron na tayong 8,000 participants on board sa ating Mentimeter. Okay, it's almost 9,000 na. So ang bilis, 10,000 ang nag-join. Okay, 11,000. Okay? Sige po. Excited na po ba tayong sumagot sa ating mga questions later dito sa ating Mentimeter? Okay, so it's 12,000 participants, 12,000 teachers nag-join na. Okay. So 1 more minute. Okay, so it's already 13,000. All right. 15,000 participants. Siguro yung mga nag-join na to talaga nabasa yung policy briefers natin. Okay, so it's 16,000 already on board. Okay, so shall we start? Okay, so for our question, first question. Okay, so our quiz rules, multiple choice, 30 seconds, faster answer. Okay. For question number 1. All right, okay. Again, quiz rules, 30 seconds, faster answer, score more points. Sino kaya mananalo sa ating Mentimeter quiz? Okay, for question number 1. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, question number 1. So answer quickly to get more points. Question number 1. Under the new 3-term school calendar, which block is specifically dedicated to learner readiness, baseline assessments, and building routines? Is it remediation block, opening block, end of term block, or instructional block? What is your answer, dear teachers? 30 seconds. Almost 1,000 na. 1,000 na yung ating nakasagot, no? Sa ating question number 1. Okay, time is up. So the correct answer is opening block. All right, so ang correct answer is opening block. Okay, bakit to opening block? So based on DO9 series of 2026, the opening block is the initial phase of term 1 designed to establish learner readiness and generate baseline data. It is specifically dedicated to beginning of school year activities, including learner and parents orientation. This is also the block where you will conduct mandatory learners' health assessments, yung ating general physical examination, nutritional assessment, yung height, weight, BMI, mini-measure, no, sa ating mga learners, yung vision, hearing screening, oral health, and immunization status. Okay? This is also the block where we administer the beginning of school year literacy and numeracy assessments, yung CARLA, yung RMA, PhilErie, etc. Dito rin ginagather at sinasubmit yung data need for the school year. At teachers, this is also the block where you establish classroom routines and co-creation of rules with your learners. Okay, so congratulations to those who got the correct answer for our question number 1. Okay, next slide. So this is our term structure. As you can see, the opening block precedes the instructional block. So there is a 4 to 5 days allotment. So this is only conducted during the beginning of the school year, only during term 1. Okay, so it precedes the instructional block, which consists of 54 to 61 class days. And the term ends with the end of term block with corresponding 8 to 10 days per term. Okay, so that is our term structure under DO9 series of 2026. Okay, ready na po ba tayo sa ating second question? Okay, next slide. Okay, for our second question, regarding lesson planning, which of the following is true under the new policy? Again, regarding lesson planning, which of the following is true under the new policy? Schools and divisions can require additional templates. Teachers must use multiple varying formats for different subjects. No additional templates beyond the single streamline format are allowed, or planning is primarily for documentation and compliance purposes. So what is your answer, dear teachers? You're given 30 seconds to provide your answer. Okay, so time is up. The correct answer is no additional templates beyond the single streamline format are allowed. Okay, so the policy explicitly says schools, divisions, and regions shall not require additional lesson plan templates, add-on forms, or documentation beyond the prescribed form. So yung dati, no, sa EO 42 series of 2016, kung meron tayong daily lesson log or DLL, detailed lesson plan, DLP, or any additional templates or forms for instructional planning, hindi na yung required starting school year 2026 to 2027. So ang ipe-prepare nyo na lang, dear teachers, ay yung single streamline lesson plan format based sa ilalabas very soon ng DepEd na bagong DepEd order on lesson planning and learning design. At doon sa lesson plan format na yan, based sa policy na lalabas, may 4 na components, yung ilaw, intentions, learning experiences, assessment, and ways forward. Okay, so ito po ay provided sa inyong policy briefer na dinownload at binasa nyo po kanina. Right? So sino po ang ating, so almost 600, 698 ba? Participants got it correct? Right? Ready na po ba tayo sa ating third question? Okay, third question is all about All right, so it's about strengthened senior high school curriculum. In the strengthened senior high school curriculum, how many core subjects will learners take? Is it 5, 6, 10, or 15? What is your answer, dear teachers? Okay, 30 seconds to respond. And time is up. Right. So the correct answer is, it's 5. Okay, so may explanation tayo dyan. At nasa policy briefer yan. Okay, so under the strengthened senior high school curriculum, the number of core subjects has been streamlined. Dati 15, now down to 5. And these mandatory subjects under the strengthened senior high school curriculum are, number 1, effective communication, mabisang komunikasyon, general mathematics, general science, life and career skills, at pag-aaral ng kasaysayan at lipunang Pilipino. This reduction allows learners to focus more deeply on fundamental skills and provides greater flexibility for elective subjects aligned with their chosen career pathways. All 5 core subjects are completed during grade 11. And also, DepEd would like to reiterate that effective communication and mabisang komunikasyon now count as one subject. So again, from 15 current senior high school core subjects, we're now down to 5 core subjects under strengthened senior high school curriculum. Right? Sino po sa inyo nakakuha ng tamang sagot? Okay, sino po? Sige po, pakichat po sa ating live stream. Alright, so kung di po kayo naka-join dito sa ating Mentimeter because of high volume of participants, pwede po kayo magsagot no, with your seatmates. Yeah. Or you can also provide your answers through our live stream. Right? So moving forward, ready na po ba tayo sa ating next question? About saang policy kaya? Itong next question natin. Okay, next slide please. Question number 4. Okay. What is the specific weight assigned to performance tasks or PTs in the grading of English, science, and mathematics for key stages 2 to 4? Is it 20%, 30%, 50%, or 70%? Okay. So nabasa natin yan sa policy briefer ng classroom assessment. Okay. So what is your answer? 30 seconds. Okay. So time is up. The correct answer is 50% with 934 teachers who got it correct, right? So hindi 20, hindi 30, hindi 70, but 50% po yung performance task natin for ESF, for key stages 2 to 4. Okay? So may explanation tayo dyan. Okay, sa ating policy on classroom assessment, sinasabi doon that under the revised grading system for key stages 2 to 4, performance tasks or PT carry the highest weight at 50% in core subjects such as English, science, and mathematics. This shift underscores performance tasks as the primary evidence of learners' understanding and higher order thinking skills compared to written works, which has 20%, and term examinations, which has 30%. Okay? So congratulations po sa lahat ng nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Sa ating mga teachers na nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Alright? Moving forward to our next question. Okay, question number 5. In the Education in Emergencies or EIE framework, which level requires academic learning to still be structured yet be intentionally slowed down? Is it hayo, hinay, hinga, or hinto? Diniscuss yan kanina, right? Dinisent yan kanina ni Director Matt. Okay, so 11 seconds left. 30 seconds. Time is up. All right. So the correct answer is Tinay. So 160 teachers got it correct. Pero may nagsagot pa rin ng Hayo, Tina, and Info. Okay? Pero at least majority sumagot ng tama. All right? So talaga nabasa yung policy. Next slide. So there are 4 levels of learning continuity in EIE. Pero yung tamang sagot kanina, no? Yung Tinay. Because Tinay or is-in level is triggered by minor to moderate disruptions. During this phase, academic learning can still continue structured learning using modules or synchronous classes, but the pace is intentionally slowed down to manage stress, particularly for our learners. Okay. Next slide. So again, we would like to reiterate that there are 4 levels of learning continuity for education in emergencies or EIE, yung hinto, stop, where all forms of learning are suspended. Another level is hinga or check-in, check-ins and light distance learning, inay or is-ins, ito yung tamang sagot kanina, right? Yung structured distance learning through available modalities at yung hayo or continue in-person classroom learning. Don't worry because detailed discussion of this will be presented to you. Okay? Ready na po ba tayo sa ating next question? Madali lang yung next question. Question number 6. All right. So which is an example of good formative assessment practice? Is it low stakes quizzes as bonus points for term exams, assigning grades without feedback, easy tasks that culminate with a final project, or checking understanding during the lesson and adjusting teaching? What is your answer, dear teachers? $13 left. 5 seconds left. All right, so the correct answer is checking understanding during the lesson and adjusting teaching is an example of good formative assessment practice. And 1,133 teachers got it correct. Yan ba sa inyo sa live stream, may nakakuha po ba ng tamang sagot? Tama po ba yung nailagay nyo, na-chat nyo sa ating live stream? If that is so, then congratulations. Congratulations to our 1,133 teachers who got the correct answer. Okay, we know the fact that checking understanding during the lesson means actively finding out if learners are following the discussion while teaching is taking place. And this can be done through questions, quick activities, or short tasks. Okay, and based on learner responses, the teacher, we adjust instruction, we also clarify concepts, we give additional examples pag hindi pa naintindihan ng bata yung concepts or yung lessons, and we also change our strategies to better support learning. This ensures that misconceptions are addressed immediately and that all learners stay on track. And aside from eliciting student responses, either to quizzes or other tasks, good formative assessment practice involves shifting the teaching practice, so modifying instruction as a response to the evidence of learning. Okay, congratulations once again to our teachers who got the correct answer. So we now move forward to the next question. Right, question number 7. So this is the second to the last question. What is the role of the learning design principles in lesson planning? To replace the curriculum, to guide instructional design decisions, to monitor teachers, or to standardize all lessons? What is your answer, dear teachers? 20 seconds left. Okay, 10 seconds left. Right, time is up. So the correct answer is to guide instructional design decisions. And 1,070 teachers got it correct. Okay, so learning design principles guide teachers in making effective lesson planning decisions. They help determine what to teach, how to teach it, and how to assess learning, ensuring that lessons are aligned, engaging, and responsive to learners' needs. the learning design principles are criteria for what good learning and good teaching looks like. So ano yung mga learning design principles? So here they are. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the learning design principles are criteria for what good learning and teaching looks like. So we have clear goals in teaching, scaffolding, checks for understanding, active retrieval and spacing, self-awareness and metacognition, social learning, values and purpose integration, and the last one is inclusion. Okay, at na-present to kanina ni Director Maggie. Okay, at nandun din sa ating policy paper on lesson planning and learning design. Okay, down to our last question. Ready po ba tayo? Our last question is all about, ready na po ba mga teachers to answer our last question? Still about three-term school calendar. So in the three-term school calendar, what is the end-of-term block primarily used for? Is it for enrollment, orientations, vacations? Is it for mandatory 160 hours of instruction? Is it for national level competitions only? Or is it for grade computation, wellness breaks, professional development? What is your answer, dear teachers? So you're given last 10 seconds. Wow, alam na ng mga teachers yung sagot natin ha. So walang sumagot. Meron ba sumagot? Konti lang sumagot ng other options. Majority dito sa ating last option, no? So 1,116, got it correct, right? Merong 18, merong 19, merong 11 na sumagot dun sa other three responses. So the correct answer is grade computation, wellness breaks, professional development. So kanina diniscuss ni Director Maggie yung end of term block. So term 1 is on September 2 to 15, 2026. Yun yung end of term block ng term 1. End of term block for term 2 will start on December 7 and will end on December 18, 2026. For term 3, ang end of term block ay March 24 to April 8, 2027. At makikita po natin to sa Annex B ng DepEd Order 90 to 2026. So basahin at unawain po natin ang policy na ito for guidance. Okay? So thank you so much po for joining our Mentimeter. So moment of truth, check na natin ang leaderboard. Sino kaya ang top 1? Sang region ba galing? From NCR or region 11 ba? Anong division? So pag kayo po ang top 1, please state your name, your position, school, and division sa ating YouTube live stream. Okay? So ang ating pong top 1 ay si Mr. Bato or Miss Zlatan with 7,718 points. So congratulations po, Zlatan, Teacher Zlatan. So code name siguro ito, no? So pakichat naman po sa ating live stream yung inyong full name, school, division, and region. Okay, para po properly ma-acknowledge po kayo. So congratulations for being the top 1 in our leaderboard. Okay, so once again, congratulations to all. Congratulations to our participants. And we hope this made things a bit clearer right now. And we hope that you realize you already know enough about these reform policies. Now let's anchor everything to your role as teachers. Moving forward to another informative discussion, to present the session on designing for learning, formative assessment, education in emergencies, and artificial intelligence in teaching and assessment, may I once again invite to our virtual floor, Chief Rosalie Bongon. Hi, Chief.
Hi, thank you, Sir Denmark. So I think it's good noon, but I guarantee our participants that we will have our lunch break at exactly 12:30. Okay? Tapusin ko lang po itong napaka-importanteng session na ito, but this will be very short. Okay? So, what is good teaching? Yan ang isa sa mga napaka-importanteng tanong sa atin ngayon, no? Because that's really the essence of, designing for learning. We design for learning in order to come up with really good teaching. Okay? Next slide, please. I would like to begin with a very simple question. What does good teaching actually look like? Not in theory, not in policy, but in your respective classroom, what does good teaching look like? You know, maybe this is encompassing, no? Maraming factors that contribute to good teaching. Siguro iniisip nyo kanina yung nabasa nyong checklist for teachers. Well, this is a comprehensive list from gathering learner profile to preparing assessment to choosing the most appropriate learning resources up to preparing for emergencies so that, you know, we make sure that learning continues. But we can always narrow it down, no? So that we can focus on what really happens during that teaching moment itself. So what does good teaching look like? Please think, reflect, or probably share with your partner. Now, I would like you this time to describe one teacher that you consider effective. O siguro kayo din yon, no? But you describe one teacher, siguro mentor ninyo or a colleague who inspires you because of the way he or she teaches. Ano ang ginagawa nila sa class? Ano ang ginagawa ng isang effective teacher sa class? So I would like you to turn to your neighbor or seatmate and share your responses. Or pwede rin pala mag-respond kayo sa comment section. Okay? I hope you are speaking now with your seatmate, trying to think about the, trying to share about the answer to the question. When do you say that a teacher is effective? Ano yung ginagawa niya sa loob ng klase para masabi mong effective si teacher? Okay, I think that's enough. So if we listen carefully, most answers are not about documents or lesson plans. No? Kaya nga kanina sabi ni Director Maggie, the focus talaga of the new policy on lesson planning is not really on the document, but on the process. So, kung titingnan natin, ano nga ba ang isang effective teacher? Maybe they are about clear expectations, hindi ba? Kung nakakapagbigay tayo ng malinaw na objectives, okay? Or pwede rin namang we guide students step by step. Malinaw yung direksyon, malinaw yung instruction, para habang ginagawa yung task, hindi na tanong ng tanong si bata or hindi magulo yung klase. Because right at the very start, nabigay na kagad natin yung step by step procedure on how to go about the process. Or isa pa rin naman, pwedeng effective si teacher if he or she knows how to check for understanding. Ito yung sinasabi natin sa policy na formative assessment. Checking for understanding or adjusting naman our teaching technique or strategy if learners do not understand yet based on the formative assessment. So ano ang essence nito? Ano ang essence ng isang effective teacher? Magbo-boil down talaga ito doon sa malasakit, no? Malasakit para sa ating mga learners, care for our learners. So that is teaching as design, no? And that's exactly what we're trying to support through these reforms, okay? So in our next slide, I will be inviting you to have a deeper look on the learning design principles. This was already mentioned by Director Maggie and also during your quiz. Medyo mataas yung mga nakuha nyo dito sa tanong on the learning design principles. Okay? We now define good teaching using learning design principles. Okay? These are not new tasks, fellow teachers, but they are a way of making visible what effective teachers already do in the classroom, okay? So in the next slide, I would like you to read through these principles, okay? You have it there, clear goals and teaching, scaffolding, checks for understanding, active retrieval and spacing, self-awareness and metacognition, social learning, values and purpose integration, and inclusion. Now let's do a quick reflection. On a scale of 1 to 5, how often do you consciously design your lesson using these principles? Please think, reflect. Do you consciously design your lesson using these principles? Do you make sure that when you develop, when you prepare your lesson plan, you incorporate all these principles? Actually, itong mga principles na to, these are not meant to standardize all lesson plans. Not meant to standardize all lesson plans, but this serve as guideposts in designing our lessons. Okay? Yung goal kasi natin dito, fellow teachers, ay maging shared language itong principles na ito. Okay? Kaya instead of saying na ang galing niya magturo, which is vague, no? Medyo vague. Saan siya magaling? So instead of saying ang galing niya magturo, probably we can say ang linaw ng instruction niya, ang linaw niya magbigay ng instructions. Or ang teacher na yan, napakahusay mag-scaffold. Or si teacher, gumagamit siya ng formative assessment tools in order to really check for understanding. Okay? So these principles are also what we use in creating learning resources for you, such as yung lesson exemplars, okay, to the free and accessible cards na ginagamit natin for teaching strategies. Okay? So I'd like to show you examples of these cards. These were developed by the Bureau of Learning Delivery in, of course, cooperation with some agencies na tumutulong din sa atin. So, tingnan niyo to, explicit instruction. This is one teaching strategy that we use. Yung iba, well, hindi siguro alam na explicit instruction, but they have been doing this inside the classroom. Simple lang to, nire-recall natin to sa pamamagitan ng I do, we do, you do. Ito yon, yung explicit instruction. And then we also have the next one, yung spaced review. Sa next slide natin, okay? Yung spaced review naman, we make use of logical connections. As much as possible, we would like our learners to be able to see the logical connections among the lessons that we present to them para nang hindi isolated ang isang lesson. In that case, the lessons become more meaningful to our learners. So that's through the spaced review. After a day, after 3 days, or after a week, we go back to our previous lesson, we review, and we connect that lesson to the current lesson. Okay? Next slide. We also have worked examples. Worked examples are actually very important because here we present models, okay? Models of some outputs to our learners, or we show how a particular answer was arrived at through an example of a solution. So there can be varied solution, and then we present examples of solved mathematical problems through work examples. So modeling, this is modeling, okay? Because we cannot just expect our learners to come up with outputs without showing them a sample model, okay? Next slide. The think, pair, share. Ang think, pair, share pwede sa adult learning, pwede rin naman sa ating mga young learners. We've been doing this in our trainings, orientations, and workshops. And most importantly, ginagamit natin ito sa klase. Here, this is quite effective because we allow our learners to think, and then they share what they have thought about to their partner. And then what's good about this is that learners filter their responses before they share them to the big group. Okay, so think, pair, share. Next, mentor feedback notes. We think that this is very important, right, fellow teachers? Importante na, you know, we give, this is one way of showing to our learners that we value their output. When we return outputs, we check them, and as much as possible, we give short notes. Okay? Ano yung mga feedback natin, ano yung good points, ano yung points for improvement, at natutuwa dyan yung mga learners natin. That goes to show na binabasa natin yung gawa nila, nire-record natin, and we take that into consideration as part of the performance of our learners. Next, we also have the empathy map. I think this is very important because it is through the empathy map that we teach our learners to connect with actions, with values, not only when we discuss narratives in English, but practically in all learning areas. So empathy map is quite important. And then we also have the next slide, the choice board. Okay, the choice board. Sa choice board, importante rin ito kasi here we allow our learners, we give them a sense of autonomy, right? To choose the product that they want perhaps to develop, but all these products, okay, are all gearing towards the achievement of a particular learning competency. Okay? Ginagamit usually for differentiated instruction. Another teaching strategy card. Do we still have more? Next slide. Okay. So notice that these principles are also what we use in the learning resources. No? Makikita nyo rin ito. So we're hoping na ma-integrate nyo rin ito or ma-incorporate nyo rin ito sa mga lessons na dinidevelop ninyo or lesson plans. Okay? Now, speaking of design principles, let's take a deeper look into one of the most important factor during teaching, no? And that is checking for understanding. Okay. Next slide, please. We now go to the formative assessment. So, dahil sa ating mga bagong policies, yung main message natin talaga is that assessment is no longer done just at the end of the lesson because assessment happens during teaching. No? We often think assessment in the form of tests, quizzes, or grades. But actually, in reality, the best teachers are constantly assessing. Let me repeat that. The best teachers are constantly assessing because formative assessments should happen at any point in the lesson. It should happen at any point in the lesson. This is what we call as assessment for learning, no? Where we prepare learners for summative assessment, that is assessment of learning, diba? So you will notice that when you do this, makikita mo yung sarili mo para kang learning detective, diba? We always gathering evidence of learning. Okay, evidence of progress, so that every question that we ask, or every observation, or every interaction in the classroom is already an assessment. Okay, it's already an assessment. So let's do a quick reflection, fellow teachers. I'd like you to bring your attention to the last lesson that you had. So, bago mag-end of term, bago mag-end of school year. Okay? Remember what you did. Naalala nyo pa ba yung last lesson nyo? Remember what you did? Now, I'd like you to pay attention to the assessments. How did you check if learners understood your lesson? I-recall nyo lang, ano ba yung ginawa nyo? Ano ba ang ginawa nyo as part of formative assessment to really check if the learners understood the lesson? Okay? Probably you want to share your response to your partner. Okay. So, thank you so much. I hope nakapag-share na kayo. I cannot give you a longer amount of time to share with your partner, no? Okay, so thank you so much for sharing. You might have heard from your partner that there are a lot of proven ways to check for understanding. And our purpose really is not just to measure learning, but also to improve. More importantly, no, to improve learning and teaching. Okay? To improve learning and teaching. Kaya nga ang formative assessment, it's not only the purpose is not only to check for understanding. The purpose is also to help the teachers come up with logical instructional decisions. Okay? So, in our next slide, probably you have gathered evidence in one of these 4 things, no? So, being a learning detective, you gather evidence first from what learners say. Okay? Their explanations, their responses to your questions, Okay. Second, from what learners write or make. So these are their products, these are their outputs. Okay. We also gather evidence of learning from what learners do through process and through their behavior, their participation and their strategies. And also, fourth, from what learners actually think. Okay? So their misunderstandings or their confusion, lumalabas yan when we discuss our lesson, when we ask questions, when they interact with their classmates. So makikita natin yan, maririnig natin yan. And we should always be there to intervene, to redirect. Okay? So all these four manifest the learning detective in us. That is why it is important that we are always in the moment. No, we are present, we are responsive, and we are observant of our learners. Okay? In our next slide, I'm showing you here an example of a teaching strategy card. Okay, this is the stoplight routine where you ask your learners how confident they are to proceed to the lesson based on how well they know the topic or how well they can do the skills needed, no? Probably in knowing that their level of confidence, teachers may ask what are the crystal clear points in the lesson, or are there still muddy points? If in case there are still muddy points, then the question is, should you proceed to your next lesson? Because if there are still muddy points, this affects the level of confidence also of the learners to proceed to the next lesson. Okay? So all this, help us in deciding for the next strategy or next technique or next lesson, which is very important in formative assessment. Okay? So, equally important din, fellow teachers, yung actions natin, no? What evidence am I collecting right now? What does it tell me about the learning of my learners? What do we do with the assessment results? Do we adjust? Do we reteach? Do we shift our approach? Okay? All these questions, these are very important, especially when learning conditions are not ideal. And that brings us to education in emergencies. Next slide, education in emergencies. Okay? So in reality, teaching is not always stable. We experience that year in and year out. So our lesson plans and the quarter or the term will always be disrupted by bagyo, may sakuna, may emergency. Kaya sa new EIE policy, no, makikita natin sa new EIE policy, pinapalakas natin yung current practices natin. At sinisimplify natin ito into a framework for better planning, better response, and better reporting. Okay? So the most important idea now, fellow teachers, is that in the policy on education in emergencies, no, simple lang ang pinaka-ideya dito. Not all disruptions are the same. So responses should not be the same. Not all disruptions are the same. So responses should not be the same. Instead of a single rule, the policy introduces a graduated response framework. Okay, which I'll show you in our next slide. Okay, so ito yon, no? Yung graduated response framework natin. Magsimula tayo sa hayo. Hayo, when learning can continue with support. Okay? Hinay, when we slow down, we adjust through structured distance learning experience. Okay? And then hinga, or check-in. No? When we pause, and of course, prioritize well-being. In that case, meron lang tayong check-ins and light distance learning. And then we also have hinto, when learning must really stop. So this shifts us from the confusion to guided professional judgment. In practice, this changes how we respond. Before, no, it often felt like there were only two choices, hindi ba? Akala natin, noon, sabi natin, it's either that we continue as usual or we stop everything. Ganun lang yun, pag education in emergencies. Now, there is a middle ground, okay? Schools and teachers can adjust based on safety conditions, learner access, and of course, the actual situation on the ground. The goal, fellow teachers, is not perfection, okay? The goal is appropriate response based on context. Okay, appropriate response based on context. So part of the policy's details are how to prepare and preposition materials. Ano yung pinakaangkop na learning experience sa bawat level? Kapag nagsuspend ng class at malubha yung bagyo, minsan ang structure ng print modules ay hindi bagay sa psychological conditions ng learners. So pwedeng magdesisyon ang school na huminga muna, mag-activate ng check-ins o learning packets. Nandito yan, nasa slide natin yan, okay? Kasi tulad ng sabi ni Secretary, hindi ba? Little learning is still learning and better than no learning at all. Ulitin ko yung sinabi, Secretary, little learning is still learning and better than no learning at all. So sa hinga, walang synchronous sessions, no? Walang synchronous sessions, walang submissions, pero may opportunity pa rin to keep learners' minds active. Okay? So, and let's add one more layer to this reality, fellow teachers. And that layer is about AI. AI in teaching and assessment. Next slide, please. Okay. AI actually is now part of our classrooms. We cannot, go away from this global trend. This is a reality. So in the next slide, I'm going to show you here's the pie graph of the 2025 survey that we conducted to 20,000 public school teachers. More than half, 54.5% of our teachers reported that they use AI regularly. And 61.9% reported that they use AI for lesson planning. Okay? So the question should not be, do we allow AI? Do we allow AI? That should not be the question, but it has to be more nuanced. How do we design learning in a world where AI already exists? Yeah? Kaya nga doon sa lesson planning natin, meron na tayo dong declaration of AI use. Because we cannot deny the fact that teachers actually use AI and we leverage technology. We have to leverage AI because this helps us deliver our lesson better. Okay? So in the next slide, makikita natin yung AI for learners during assessments. Nakapaloob din po ito doon sa policy natin sa classroom assessment, grading, and awards and recognition. Merong mga bagay, may mga aspeto ng assessments na completely AI prohibited. Katulad halimbawa ng assessments that measure and require independent recall, reasoning, because that should be coming from our learners talaga, no? So, therefore, authentic dapat ang pagka-formulate ni teacher ng mga assessment na ito. Okay? Based on the context, based on what transpired in the classroom. Okay? Term examinations. We cannot generate our summative assessments from AI. So that's prohibited, no? Meron namang mga AI limited. So assessments that focus on learners' opinions, application of knowledge into local context, and original thinking. Pwede nating i-AI, ipa-refine natin sa AI yung grammar, yung ating language, the best the most appropriate vocabulary perhaps. Okay? So AI limited yan. Okay? Not entirely taken from AI. And of course, pwede rin yung AI allowed with documentation such as contextual analysis, problem solving, systems thinking, and analysis of issues and policies. Next slide. AI naman for grading and assessing learners. May AI prohibited din. Decision making. In terms of the final grades, of course, we cannot generate AI. I mean, the grades through AI. And then AI limited, of course, yung paggamit natin ng when we allow AI to check our grammar, spelling checks, and polishing. And then AI allowed with documentation. Okay? So that's for the AI in teaching and assessment. Now, I'm giving you the next slide. In lesson planning naman, so may mga parts naman ng lesson plan na prohibited. Bawa yung learning objectives, we have the budget of work, we have the curriculum where you should get that. May mga part naman na AI limited, okay? Yung katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, for rephrasing or refining, or AI allowed with documentation, okay? Next slide. So let's go back to our question. When we started, what does good teaching actually look like? We hope that by now, we can answer more clearly. It should be designed well based on the design principles. Yan po ang tandaan natin. Okay? It should be, teachers should check for understanding continuously, formative assessment. It should adapt to real conditions, education in emergencies, and it should use AI intentionally, mitigating harm, and of course, maximizing benefits. So this time, I'd like you to take a minute to reflect on this question. Next slide. What is one change I will make in how I design my lessons? What is one change I will make in how I design my lessons? Okay, siguro sa ngayon hindi pa masyadong nagsisink in, no? Pero I hope that after this orientation, until such time that before you start the opening block, meron na kayong sagot sa katanungan na yan, okay? These reforms are not asking you, fellow teachers, to do more. And we hope you see this by now. They are helping you do what matters, okay? They are helping you do what matters, and that is being present for our learners, and of course, creating space to design learning that really works, okay? So, at this juncture, I'm going to show you now the next self-facilitated activities natin. Okay, next slide. Okay. You were already presented with the new template of the lesson plan, and of course, it's also there in the guide, no? Yung kanina, yung sa QR code natin, nandun yun sa teacher orientation package, nandun yun sa LS policy reforms. You can see our new lesson plan template that support better learning design by articulating clear intentions. Ganun pa rin naman, we have curricular targets, but this time, we have to understand the learner's context because this helps us design our lessons. Ganon pa rin, we should have clear expectations. Next slide. There should be also manageable delivery. Meron na tayo ditong flow where the trust is given to teachers in structuring the learning experience because we believe that, you are in the best position to craft this particular part of that lesson. And of course, the integration of design principles is quite important. Next. Assessment also is there, bearing in mind that assessment doesn't only happen at the end of the lesson, but at any point in the lesson. Reflection is now part of the ways forward. Okay? So what is your task as participants for this self-instruction, self-learning pace. I mean, self-paced learning. So we have here an activity that is focused on designing or redesigning a lesson. So, pwedeng bagong lesson or a lesson that you have used already, and then you are going to redesign it following the new guide or new template for lesson planning. You try this out by working with a partner or probably a small group. I would like you to take this opportunity to explore the process of doing the lesson plan, see what you like about it, and how it can help you become a better teacher. Okay? So what you're going to do is to design or redesign a lesson plan. In our next, but you're given 60 minutes, medyo matagal yan. No? I think that's enough for you to come up with a lesson plan, especially because you're doing it in collaboration with a partner or a small group. So you may access one lesson or redesign an existing lesson, and then you may also access the template here. It's already shown on your screen. When you download, make sure to make a copy. Do not work on the template in the link, okay? So you make a copy, and then you design or redesign your lesson plan, okay? So you are going to do this from 12:30 to 2:45. So we have enough time for our lunch. And then siguro over lunch, mag-discuss na kayo with your small group or with your partner. And then you have time to work on this until 2:45 this afternoon. Okay? So we are momentarily ending our broadcast to give you time to take your lunch and work on the lesson plan. We will see you again at exactly 2:45. But stay with us in the link, no? So that would be it, fellow teachers. I hope malinaw yung ating self-facilitated activity. Thank you so much and see you at 2:45 this afternoon.